Welcome back, Pokemon trainers. Professor Chaz here, the lab coat's on back order, and it's time once again for another Pokemon TCG live online match video, number 72 in the series. This one I had intended to do as a viewer battle with you folks out there. Unfortunately, over the weekend, I was helping my brother move, and it kind of delayed things here on the channel, and I just didn't have time to sit down and do it. And this is actually a day later than I normally like to upload these. Usually I would upload it yesterday on Wednesday, but again, with the move, I was helping him unpack on Tuesday when I normally would record this to have it uploaded for Wednesday. It is currently Wednesday as I record this, but it's currently Thursday as you're watching this because, of course, editing time is a thing. Anyway, all that being said, I am a day later, but hopefully this Sunday, February 26th, I'm going to try to sit down in the evening on Sunday and do some viewer battles with you folks out there using the next deck that I put together. I'm not going to spoil what it is. You might sort of see a theme happening with what I'm doing with this video and the previous one, the two different decks, but I'll just leave it at that. But before we get into the deck that I'm calling Toxic Flames, I do want to point out that in the full description down below, there's another Pokemon TCG online code, courtesy of viewer TP Cubed. Doesn't have access to the game, can't use the code, so handed me a bunch of codes. I'm handing them out to you folks out there. The code for today in this video is for the Triple Power Tin Gyarados. So if you scroll down to the full description, check that code, come here to Pokemon TCG Online and insert that code quick as you can. First come, first served, of course. Get yourself whatever you get from the Power Tin. I would assume at least, of course, the Gyarados EX promo card. I think it's an EX. Other than that, I don't know what else you would get from the Power Tin, because usually you get 4 booster packs. Those have their own code cards in them. So anyway, feel free to grab that code, get that input yourself as quickly as possible. Hopefully you're the first one, and if so, you got yourself at least a Gyarados EX. And if you get anything else, let me know, because I'm curious to see what else you get from the codes in a Triple Power Tin like the Gyarados one. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the deck that I've assembled for this week. I'm calling it Toxic Flames, because it's kind of an interesting little combination. Now, last week, we took a look at the grass starter of the Alola region, Decidueye-GX. This time around, we're going to look at Incineroar-GX, the fire type, of course. You'll see here, 250 HP, and for 1 fire energy, Hustling Strike, 10 plus, this attack does 20 more damage for each of your benched fire Pokemon. Now, Tiger Swing for 2 fire and a colorless, 80 damage plus, flip 2 coins, 50 more damage for each heads. Could do 180 with that. But then, of course, your GX attack, the 2 fire and colorless Burning Slam GX. 200 powerful damage. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned. Now, if we haven't seen Burn yet in the current format, Burn is different than what it used to be. Burn now, essentially every single turn that your Pokemon spends burned at the end of it, or at least in between turns, if you're burned, your active Pokemon does take 20 damage. You then flip a coin. On tails, things remain the same, but if you flip heads, you cure the burn. So you have a 50% chance at the end of each turn to get rid of the burn. Now, basically, that ensures you're going to do 220 damage, unless, of course, the opponent's Pokemon has something like a Sparkling Robe or some ability that prevents special conditions like the Antibodies Eradicate from one of the Break expansions. Might even be Fates Collide or something like that. But anyway, you're going to get 220 damage off. So I've got 2 of these Incineroar-GX. I've also got a regular Incineroar, because I like the Fire Fang, does 30 damage, and causes the burn. So that's going to be 50, essentially. But you're going to see this kind of combines well with what else I'm going to put into the deck. So there is 1 of those Incineroar. I've got 2 Torracat and 4 Litten. Basically, I would normally only put maybe 3 Litten in, but the more bench Pokemon, or bench fire Pokemon I have, the more Incineroar-GX can do with the Hustling Strike. So if I just need to put 1 more basic fire down, I'll have an extra Litten possibly in hand to do that. But we're going to combine this with the Steam Siege Ariados, the ability Poisonous Nest. Once during your turn before your attack, you may use this ability. Both active Pokemon, except for grass types, are now poisoned. So the idea with this is, it's called Toxic Flames. I think I called it that. We're going to be able to get the poison off with Ariados. Going to be able to get the burn off with either the, Burning Slam GX, almost said Hustling Strike again, or the simple Fire Fang, getting 2 special conditions on the opposing Pokemon. Normally in the video game, you can only be paralyzed, poisoned, burned, sleep, or frozen. But in the TCG, you can have poison and burn and another one of those 3 conditions, because those 3 are just like tilting your card a certain way. So I kind of like the idea of getting both a burn and a poison off. It's going to be 30 additional damage between turns, and then the possible flip of heads to cure the burn. But on the initial turn of getting the burn, you're going to get 30 extra damage between turns. So I've got 2 Ariados and I've got 2 Spinarak. I've also tossed in 3 Torkoal. Again, mostly just so I can have a basic fire Pokemon to drop onto the bench to power up the Hustling Strike. But Singe, for 1 fire, causes a burn. no damage, but if we can singe the opposing Pokemon and Poisonous Nest with Ariados, then we'll get 30 damage off, and Torkoal can kind of sit there with 110 HP, possibly tanking some hits, at least for a little bit. Now, you're probably thinking, what was I going to say about this? Something that came to mind I wanted to point out. I've completely lost track. Hopefully it comes back to me. But we'll kind of scroll on ahead, and oh, I just remembered. Alright, so Ariados does say it cannot poison grass-type Pokemon, correct? That is true, so we can't get the poison off, but generally, looking at Ariados itself, check the weakness, fire. If we can't poison them, we can get double damage off with one of our Fire-type Pokemon. So that's going to kind of offset the inability to poison grass types. There are some grass types that are weak to different things, of course, so if that comes up, that'll be an unfortunate situation, but what are the chances of finding a grass type that's not weak to fire? Now that I've said that, we're going to find some, I'm sure. Anyhow, let's scroll down to the energy. Simply put, all we have is 12 basic fire energy. Now that's to power up the attacks. It's also to make use of the Scorched Earth. I'll show you in a moment, because we're now going to jump into the 32 trainer cards for this deck. So, since we will not have an active grass type, Poisonous Nest is going to poison our own Pokemon. This is where the big Malasada comes in. We got 2 of these in the deck, heal 20 damage, and remove a special condition from your active Pokemon. So we can cure that poison by using that and heal 20 HP. So it's kind of a nice little addition to put into the deck. I like that. Just look at that. Doesn't that look delicious too? Look, you just want to bite into that bread, and I don't know what the goop is inside, but it looks like strawberry filling or something like that. Doesn't it look delicious? Let's move on. I'm getting hungry. All right, we got 2 basic energy retrievals in here. Bring back 2 basic energy from your discard pile back into your hand. 2 Evo Sodas, because it's going to require a lot of evolution to get these Pokemon into play. We got 2 level balls to find any Pokemon of 90 HP or less. The only ones we couldn't find with that would be the 2 types of Incineroar or the Torkoal. Everything else will be findable using the level ball. Probably going to use that to find an Ariados for the most part. I've got 2 Nest Balls. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it straight onto your bench. Could speed things up a little bit for us. 2 Professor's Letters to find 2 basic energy from within your deck and put them right into your hand. I got 2 rare candies, because if necessary, we can bypass the Torracat evolutionary chain and jump right into Incineroar or Incineroar-GX, and each one has kind of minimal energy requirements to attack. Generally, if I have a Litten in play for one turn, I'm probably going to attach an energy to it the turn, immediately putting it into play. If I then rare candy into this Incineroar, put a second energy on, I can now Fire Fang and get that burn. Or, with that 1 energy attached, I can be using the Hustling Strike, possibly getting some more damage off with some benched fire types. Could come in handy. I've got 2 Super Rods to shuffle back 3 cards of any combination of Pokemon and basic energy back into my deck. A couple of Ultra Balls as well. Discard 2 cards from hand, and if you do, search your deck for any Pokemon and bring it into your hand. I've got 2 Versus Seekers, bringing back a couple supporters that I'm going to be using. And the 2 Stadiums, of course, are the Scorched Earth. This card stays in play being a stadium. Each player can discard 1 fire or 1 fighting energy from their hand each turn to draw 2 additional cards. One of my favorite ways to speed up your draw support in any deck that I put together. Now we got a lot of supporters in here. We got 1 Elima, kind of like N in a way. Both players shuffle their hands into the deck, and then you flip a coin. If you flip heads, you draw 6 cards back. If you flip tails, you draw 3 cards. So it's going to help you with, like, get a whole new hand of cards, right? And speaking of N, I'll skip ahead. We do have N in the deck here as well. This one here, I wanted to sort of have ways to speed up getting a different hand of cards. Oh, there's a promo event? Anyway, I wanted to speed up a way of getting different cards in hand, of course. I've got Judge as well, both players shuffling away their hand and drawing 4 cards each. And if you don't know what it does, I'll mention it quickly. You shuffle your hand into the deck, and each player, well, both players do it, each player draws back cards from the top equal to how many prize cards they have remaining. So if you're losing the match, your opponent has less prizes than you, you're going to sort of hinder them by limiting what's in their hand. I also have Lysandre, of course. Switch your opponent's active Pokemon with one of the benched Pokemon of your choosing. Bring something up possibly weak to Incineroar. Maybe one shot. We'll see what happens. And since we're going to be poisoning our own Pokemon, I got 2 Pokemon Center ladies this week, healing 60 damage and removing all special conditions from your active Pokemon, or one of your Pokemon, but generally, it's going to be your active Pokemon in this kind of a deck, I'm thinking. Next, we have Professor Kukui. Draw 2 cards, and your Pokemon does 20 more damage to the opponent's active Pokemon before weakness and resistance. That could come in handy. I've also got 2 Skylas, of course. Playing Skyla to search your deck for any trainer card you want and take it into hand. An item, a tool. I don't have tools this week, but an item, a stadium card I could play immediately. A supporter, I could set myself up for the following turn to play another supporter, because she is my supporter for that one turn. And finally, we've got ourselves a Wally. What I like about this, Wally does let you evolve a Pokemon, except for EX, into its evolutionary stage from within your deck, even if it's the first turn you played that Pokemon. Something I like to do is have a Litten in play for a turn. I can play Evo Soda to find Torracat from in the deck, evolve. I can then play Wally to immediately evolve right up into Incineroar or Incineroar-GX. This does not hinder Pokemon-GX evolution. So that is pretty cool. That is going to be the deck for this week. 16 Pokemon, 32 trainer cards, and 12 energy cards. Without further ado, let's jump into some matches right now and see how well Incineroar-GX does in this week's Pokemon TCG live online match. Alright, the Toxic Flames are going up against Woodchucks with a Psychic and Colorless deck, wearing a Wooper hoodie. But we didn't see any water for the deck, so we could be okay. Let's call for the nice fancy head side of the Litten coin. We're going to get that head side. Welcome to the Professor Chaz channel, where we never get to go first. Actually, very rarely do we get to go first. But the opponent has a mulligan, and we don't. So we're going to lead with Torkoal. We're going to drop Litten and Spinarak. Now, we will get to attack on our first turn, which is pretty good to note. And just take a look at what the opponent has to work with. We see, interesting, they're using the Gengar that I like. They got Switch, alright. And Weezing, not sure what Weezing would do to us. Might find out, though. Alright, so they do have a Pokemon this time. I can take a card for the mulligan, of course. But no thanks. I don't mind, you know. We'll play things out nice and evenly, nice and fair. We can lead with Torkoal and get the burn on the very first turn, which is going to be helpful. As they grab a level ball, find themselves a Pokemon of 90 HP or less, it's going to be Haunter. No, Eevee! Alright, we're going to see Espeon-GX, are we not? I'm predicting it. They can drop the Eevee. If they do attach a basic energy, which they've just done, they can search the deck for an evolution of that type using the ability. And on the very first turn, kind of like Wally in a way, they can evolve that. The ability gets around the whole can't evolve in the first turn sort of thing. So this thing can do a lot of decent damage to us, which I'm not a fan of, but let's put the energy on. Let's go for the Singe to burn this active Ghastly, 20 damage. Which I guess is pretty good, because the old way that the burn worked, was even if you got the burn off, you wouldn't have guaranteed damage, unlike poison. Originally, you'd have to flip a coin. If you flipped heads, you would be fine, but if you flipped tails, you would then take 20 damage. So, at least now, if all you do is burn things, then, like for example, Torkoal doesn't do damage with the Singe, it just does the burn. You're at least insured of doing some damage. Alright, so watch this play. Some pro strats right here. We can get Ariados evolved up. We're going to now use the Poisonous Nest. Poison both active Pokemon. Poison on both of those there. We're now going to play the Pokemon Center Lady, healing the Poison and Confusion and the 30 damage that Torkoal has. Let us now grab an energy and put onto the Litten and evolve into Torracat if we have them in the deck. We do. Alright. The only one in there, though. The other one is prized. And now we can get the Singe for the burn. So it's going to be taking 30 damage at the end of this turn. Watch this. Look at the way burn looks. Just, we saw it on the Ghastly, but like the searing flame around that marker. I just love how it looks. So they're going to be taking 60 at the end of this turn, unless they have their own, like, Pokemon Center Lady or a big Malasada, something like that. So the problem with Torkoal, of course, it does have a 3 retreat cost. I can't really reliably bring it back without losing a whole bunch of energy to do that. So it's going to stay there, taking some damage. Not really going to do anything to help that. Of course, they're going to go for a powerful Psychic, which will do 90. They could also divide GX and take down Torracat. But let's go for the Psychic. 90 damage. Alright, fair enough, I guess. You know what I kind of want to do? Since they do stay burned, I want to see if we can also get the Paralysis. I'm going to try that. Now, 50, 80, so we'll get them up to 120, I think it is, 140. If we paralyze them, this could be a perfect spot to be in. No, I'm not going to use the Pokemon Center Lady, because another Psychic will bring us down. Let's just try the Body Slam. 50 damage. Possible Paralysis? No. Alright. Fair enough. But we put them into range for a very potential Torracat knockout, because they're going to take 30 more, going down to 170. Never mind. Or going down to 170? Yeah, going up to 170. But that is all gone now. It's healed up. 80 damage. So they can knock out the Ariados as well. That is their GX attack, though. At this point, I need some serious draw support from my deck. Do you think I'm going to get that? Probably not. So they get 2 prizes for those knockouts. Very decent GX attack, of course, spreading whatever damage you want anywhere you want. What do we find? Nest Ball. What can that help us with? I guess Torkoal's our best bet. It can take the hits the best. We are going to lose the Torracat to a Psychic. Even if we were to heal up, it'll still do 90 to us. Let's just go for the Fury Swipes, as much damage as possible. At least we got more heads than tails on that. Okay, so I wonder what the point of Gengar in this deck would be. Because I suppose Espeon-GX could move a bunch of damage around, putting 3 on a whole bunch of things. What does this do? They can't be confused or poisoned. That kind of hinders our strategy. We can't be paralyzed or asleep. That doesn't affect our strategy whatsoever. But I think it's interesting. Burn wasn't really a big important thing in TCG for quite a while there. That Chaos Tower does not even refer to burn at all. So either side can still be burned. And we literally have nothing to play from hand. Welcome to the Professor Chaz channel once again. 60, at least I can heal that. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to heal. I'm going to burn. Yeah, my opponent suddenly had their heart broken over that. Am I upset? No. Do we keep the burn? We do not. So, we're gonna burn them again. What else do they go for? The knockout, probably. No. Could they have retreated and knocked me out with that, though? Yeah, they could have sideburned for 120. Huh. Alright, we gotta delay things out a little bit. Now, I remember they had a switch, didn't they? I gotta try to paralyze them. Okay. If luck is ever going to work for Professor Chaz on my channel, now's the time. I need to flip heads for Body Slam. Wait for it. Wait for it, everybody. There we have it. Just attack. Just attack. No, your turn's done. Attack. And that's what we do here. You can simply attack to end the match. No need to play those cards out. That's just annoying. You ever notice that? You ever have people do that to you when they've won, but they want to draw it out for no reason? There you have it. We are now going up against Nico de Jong with a Dragon and Colorless deck. Now, apparently we have the advantage somehow. Don't know how that works out, but waiting for the opponent to load up. They have the Water Coin, calling for the coin flip. Are we going to get to have the first turn of the game here on the Professor Chaz channel? We don't get to choose, first of all. We don't get the first turn. Do we have a mulligan? At least we don't go that far. Alright, so we do start with a Torkoal, which is kind of good. On the first turn of my game, or my first turn of the game, I should say, I do get to attack. So that's something. I have a Nest Ball, a Level Ball. Very good. I've got an Ariados already in hand. So on my very first turn, I can get the Burn and Poison right away. This thing! How does it hit you that much? Look, for 1 energy, it does 30 damage and confuses? That's too much power. I suppose because it doesn't evolve, though. It has some pretty decent power. It's how! Just like the music predicted! So 3 more cards for the opponent's hand. Throwing a Water Energy down onto the Spinda. As we get Wally. I like that. Alright, let's go ahead and Nest Ball for a Spinarak. I'm just trying to think what I can do here. I'm gonna get the Spinarak. I could immediately Yeah, I can't poison on the very first turn. I can burn, though. I could Wally into Ariados from the deck, but I'm not going to waste time doing that just yet. I'm going to play the level ball. Grab ourselves a Litten, and bench that one as well. I could Ultra Ball right now, but I would lose Wally. I'm going to wait till the next turn. I'm going to put this onto the Torkoal, just to get... I'm going to Wally right now into Torracat, just because I can. Try to use up that extra card. That way, next turn, I won't draw the Torracat. It's already drawn out and in play. So let's now go ahead and go for the Singe. We'll get the burn. 20 damage, possibly healing the burn. Which it does not. Alright, that's another turn of burn coming their way. But with a hand of 9 cards, they gotta be able to play something else. Another How. I like this. This really fits the music I chose for this. No, I need that. No, I need the energy. I actually have energy retrieval, of course. I can just draw it right back. But they do have a Nest Ball. Looking for a basic to go right onto the bench. Do we see any EX or potential GX Pokemon? We're seeing a lot of the Sun and Moon cards on the opposing side here. We see Ho-Oh EX. I like that one. Hard to get powered up, but if you can get it powered up, has a pretty decent attack. 130 to the active and doing 30 to a bench Pokemon. Plus, with basic fire energy attached, you can heal, is it 60, I think? Heal 50 every turn from that Pokemon. And the burn stays. Nice. Now we're going to go into Ariados. I kind of want to Ultra Ball right now. I can get Incineroar. I'm going to do that. I'm losing a Litten, but I can Super Rod it back in later on if I need to. Which Incineroar do we want? Well, let's go with the only one that's actually in here. Let's go for the Incineroar-GX. Because the other one apparently is prized, which is the easier one to get the burn off with. But I guess we already have a burn going on here. Alright, so although it's going to poison poor Torkoal, we'll get the poison on Spinda as well. And that's all we can do. We're not going to risk hurting ourselves. Poison and burn, going to bring that to 70 damage. They could retreat for 1 energy, of course. But then the Ho-Oh comes up. And they play Steven, looking for a supporter card and a basic energy. If they get a basic fire on that Ho-Oh, that's going to really hinder things, because they can heal off all the burn and poison damage every single turn. Go for another How and a water energy. Come on, leave the Spinda up. Let me just get at least 1 hit on you. 1 knockout, 1 prize. Thank you! Alright, 30 damage. Spinda does fall, leaving Ho-Oh EX safe from taking damage from a hit. Actually, no, because it gets knocked out here. So the Ho-Oh does come active. Oh, they cured the burn! Look at that. What do we find? Come on. That's not bad. Did they not realize that the poison would take them out? And Supporter. We got Wally. Still not useful, though. I'm going to go for Poisonous Nest. Both are poisoned. Now we're going to cure ourselves, just so I can reliably get the burn off. It's kind of weird. I'm going to burn Ho-Oh. How often do you hear that happen? We're going to get 30 damage. They can either attach a water, which they do have, to go for the knockout now, or they can attach a fire energy to heal. I'd say their best bet is to get their healing in play as soon as possible. Never mind. They're just going to Pokemon Center Lady. What kind of nonsense is that? I played one a moment ago. That's the hypocrisy right there for you. Anywho, there's the Elemental Feather. Ariados takes the hit. So Incineroar-GX becomes active. Not going to really be able to do much with it, though. We have 0 energy. Come on, game. Give me something to work with. That is something to work with. Thank you, Alima. Give me a heads. Excellent. Thank you. So we're probably about to lose the Ariados. Here's what we're going to do. We'll get the poison off first of all. And now, we're going to get a bunch of Fire-type Pokemon on the bench. Let's go for a Nest Ball. We got a Litten. We got a Torkoal. We're going to drop this Torkoal. We're going to drop this Torkoal. We're going to Level Ball for a Litten. I'm going to drop that as well, because the Hushling Strike's going to be able to do a little bit more damage. Let's do that. As much damage as possible. Can't get the burn on this thing, but we do 70, 10 more for the poison. Let me think. One more Hustling Strike will do a lot of good damage. But now they can heal 50. And now they can heal 60. So the question is... I want to probably go for Alima again. Versus Seeker is in hand. I'm trying to see how much damage that I can do. So if I was to heal 60, I go to 90. 100 from the poison. 230 from the Elemental Feather. Let's drop another Spinnerack because we're about to lose our current one. I was going to say, why are they not poisoned? Oh, right, because the Pokemon Center lady. I kind of want to go for Alima. Just to give us some more cards to play with. Let's do that. Alright, play Alima. Come on, give me something good. Give me something useful. Give me something great. Heads. You know what I find I haven't noticed or haven't found just yet? Where is my Scorched Earth? Alright, did I see there was another Torracat in the deck? I don't remember. I want to wait till the next turn to play a card, though. I'm going to put this to the Litten. Alright, so it is poisoned, alright. I'm going to use the Evo Soda next turn because I just played the Spinnerack. If there is not another Torracat in the deck, I can at least use Evo Soda to evolve into Ariados for the second turn Spinnerack was in play. And I have Kukui. I can play him to get 2 extra cards. Okay, Elemental Feather. So I do get 2 knockouts here. Painful. They get 3 prizes for that too, because of course the GX going down means 2 prizes for the opponent. We're going to put a Torkoal up there. Hopefully we can get some energy and get the burn. Well, that's not going to really help us too much, so we got to basically start doing some damage. But we do have a fire energy in hand. I'm going to Evo Soda now. Do we find Torracat? We do. Alright, so there was one left in there. Alright. I guess I'll put this onto the Torracat. I'm going to Kukui right now. Draw 2 more cards. It's kind of wasting the fact that we can't really do damage, unfortunately. But we get Poison. Alright. If I can get a way to get Incineroar-GX in play, the Burning Slam GX does bring this thing down. Even if you heal, we can do 200 with Burning Slam GX. Are you really leaving it all lying on your one Ho-Oh-EX? Because that was a big mistake. If I have a way to get an Ultra Ball, if I can play Skyla here. Alright, Skyla, give me something good. I need the Ultra Ball. Something to evolve. I can just go for Evo Soda. So, this is going to be the win. We did see another Incineroar-GX was in there, of course. So let's go ahead. They have 1 prize left. What a come from behind near loss. Well, victory here. As we go for our GX attack. Burn the house down. And it gets burned. So there we go. You didn't really get to see all the strategies in play, really, but you saw the idea of burn and poison. And if the Ho-Oh-EX had survived the hit, it would have been burned and taken 20 more damage. If I had gotten Ariados in play, that would be another bit of damage as well. So, not the perfectly played match, but you get an idea how that works. There we have it. You saw that. 225 tokens? Yes! Alright, that is that. So that is going to be a wrap for this week's Pokemon TCG Live Online match number 72 in our series, featuring the Burning Slam power of Incineroar-GX, as well as combining it with the poisonous nest of Ariados from the bench. So my deck didn't play as well as I was hoping it would. I'm not sure what I could do to improve this, but if you have any comments to leave on how to improve this kind of a deck, feel free to leave them down below. And what do you think of the idea of combining poison and burn? And even a third condition if you're lucky enough to get like the paralysis from the body slam of Torkoal or something like that. I like that you can triple up on some conditions like that. Of course, as I said, paralysis, sleep, and confusion all override one another because you tilt the card a certain way to do that. But anyway, I'm kind of rambling about special conditions. You saw how it worked out. If you have any ideas how to improve this, as I say, leave a comment down below. And anyone that wants to sort of recreate an Incineroar-GX deck for themselves using something similar to this idea, your suggestions on how to streamline this and make it a little bit more cohesive could help them out. Also, I forgot to mention this, but thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. Now, of course, as I say, next week, or this coming Sunday on the 26th of February, I'm going to try for some evening recordings of the next deck that I want to assemble. I haven't yet assembled it, but I have an idea what I want to use. I'm not going to spoil it. I want to spring it on you as a surprise, but you might be able to see a bit of a trend I'm doing from this video and the last one. So, Sunday evening on February 26th, around 7 p.m. Atlantic time, my time zone, I'll be looking to do some viewer battles. I'll upload a video on the channel as well, letting you know when to look for me in the online game. We'll try to set up for some matches there, and following that, or the week following that, we'll be showing off those videos on the channel. But a little bit of a thing I wanted to leave as a question of the day in the news video this week, which didn't get recorded because there was no news, and I was busy with stuff helping my brother move and such. Just leave this in a comment down below. What day of the week, and what time of the day of that day of the week, do you have the best time to play Pokemon TCG online or Wi-Fi battles in Pokemon Sun and Moon? Because I am getting close to the point of doing some Wi-Fi battles in the video games as well. Basically, Sunday night is the best time for me to record, but if something falls through and I can't do it on the Sunday night, for example, I like to have sort of a backup idea, general consensus from everybody out there. When is the best time for the majority of you to play your matches that could be recorded for the channel? Because if I can't do it on a Sunday, then I can try to arrange for a different day of the week that would work out for the best for everybody out there, or at least the majority. But with all that, we are done. Now, what I would normally say is, just one sec here, let's go for GX, show the cards. Well, these are all the cards that I own online. A lot of wheeling and dealing with some trades out there. I've got a lot of options to choose from. I even have a full art Solgaleo GX. Very cool. But I was going to say, leave your leave a question. Leave your comment down below. Which Pokemon GX would you like to see for not next week, but the week after? Because I already have the idea for next week. I just have to assemble the deck as I said. But anything you want to see afterwards to highlight, let me know which Pokemon you want to see on the field of battle in the, not next week, but the following week's Pokemon TCG live online matches, and I'll try to assemble a deck using those Pokemon. So the ones that we have used already are Incineroar-GX. Technically, we've used Lapras-GX, although it was our first time using a deck, or I should say my first time using a deck on the channel, so it didn't really have much of a chance to shine. It was just what I randomly happened to get. We've also seen, what have we seen so far? Umbreon-GX we saw, Decidueye-GX, we also saw, I used somebody else, didn't I? Oh, sure I did. Maybe I'm completely mistaken. Anyway, as far as I know, those are the only ones that we've used. Incineroar, Lapras. I might want to bring Lapras back, though, as part of a more cohesive deck. We've also used Umbreon and Decidueye. Maybe that is all. Anyway, anything else you want to see for a following week, let me know which ones you want to see. But next week, I got an idea in mind. We'll just leave it at that. And with all that, we are now done for the day. I want to say thanks for watching today's Pokemon TCG live online match. Professor Chaz is signing off. And stay tuned for Sunday, February 26th. We'll do some more viewer battles. And until then, I'll catch you next time.